안을 바일러 so easily fooled 사실 다는 걸 입에 다 써져 있는 걸 You're my only one babe 말이 좀 심해지면 I can't keep on loving you when you're always asking if I got another girl, baby.
As Jimin prepared to leave for his mandatory Korean military service, you could feel the weight of his absence pressing down on your chest. You knew this was something he had to do, something that is very important for him, but it didn't make the goodbyes any easier. The night before he left, you found yourself unable to sleep, your mind racing with memories of your time together and the countless nights you'd shared in each other's arms. When you finally mustered the courage to slip out of bed and into the living room, you were surprised to find Jimin already awake, staring up at the ceiling, his muscles taut and his breathing labored. He looked so that you couldn't help but feel awe of desire for him. You walked over to the couch and crawled in beside him, wrapping your arms around his waist and his eyes fluttered open, and for a moment he just took you in. Then slowly he wrapped his arms around you, pulling you closer, and you could feel the desperation in his. The way he loved you was almost in its intensity. For a moment you were content, wrapped in his embrace, but you couldn't help but wonder if this would be the last time you felt his. For a very long time, the weight of that thought, but you pushed it aside, determined to enjoy this final moment of closeness. I love you, you whispered, reaching up to cup his cheek. I'm going to miss you so much. Jimin's eyes filled with tears as he nodded. I love you too, baby, and I'm going to miss you every single day. But I promise I'll come back to you. We'll get through this together. He leaned in and kissed you softly. You held on to that promise, clinging to the hope that everything would be okay, even as you tried to imagine your life without him. You clung to him, your body shaking with sobs. As you held on to him for dear life, you couldn't help but feel as if you were in a dream, afraid that this perfect moment would snatched away from you. I love you, Jimin, you whispered, burying your face in his chest. I will miss you so much. He stroked your hair gently, kissing the top of your head. I love you too, baby. I'm sorry I must leave, but I'm here for now. We'll get through this together, okay? You nodded against his chest, feeling the warmth of through your clothes. I just want to be with you. You confessed, looking up at him through tear-filled eyes. I want us to live our life together. A smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. We will, baby, I promise. He cupped your face in his hands and we'll make this work. We'll have our future together. You nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and anxiety. You knew he was right, but the thought of being apart from him for such a long time was still unbearable. I'll miss you every day, Jimin, you whispered. I believe in our ability to overcome this challenge. We're united in facing this together. We are, baby. We'll get through this and we'll have a beautiful future together. I promise. You waved goodbye to Jimin as he boarded the bus that would take him to his training camp. You tried to be strong, but the tears streamed down your face as you watched him disappear from sight. As the bus drove away, you felt a deep ache in your chest, as if a part of you was being away. You knew that the next 18 months would be difficult, but you also knew that you had to be strong for both of you. You promised yourself that you would write him every day and that you would call him whenever you could. You would make sure that he felt your love and support even from so far away. You turned and walked back to your apartment, feeling a new sense of determination wash over you. You would make the most of the time apart, and you would cherish every moment you had with Jimin when he returned. You would hold on to the hope that your love would be enough to sustain you both until that day came. You felt a mix of joy and fear as you took the pregnancy test. Your heart raced with anticipation as you waited for the results. When the test showed two clear lines, you couldn't help but feel overwhelmed with emotion. Not only were you going to be a mother, but you were going to have to face this pregnancy alone. Tears filled your eyes as you thought about Jimin and how much he would have wanted to be there with you. You couldn't help but feel guilty for being happy under these circumstances. You decided to wait for the right time to tell him until he was on leave. In the meantime, you began to make plans for your pregnancy, determined to give your child the best life possible, even if it meant being apart from Jimin for a little while longer. You spent hours researching pregnancy, writing down questions for your doctor, and planning out a nursery. The days were long and lonely, but knowing that you were growing a part of Jimin inside you gave you strength. You would cherish this time, even though it was difficult, and you couldn't wait to share the news with him when the time was right. Finally, after what felt like forever, your doorbell rang, and there he was, standing on the other side of the door, looking just as handsome as ever. Tears streaming down your face, you threw open the door and fell into his arms, not caring who saw or what anyone thought. It was only you and him, and that was all that mattered. You took a deep breath, gathering your courage. Jimin, I have something really important to tell you. You said, taking his hand in yours. His gaze never left your face as you continued. I'm pregnant. His eyes widened in shock, and then they filled with tears. He leaned forward. Oh, baby, he whispered. I'm so happy for us. He pulled away, looking at you with a mix of love and disbelief. But how? When did this happen? You smiled, tears streaming down your face. I'm not sure when it happened, but I'm pretty sure it happened the night before you left. I only found out about it a month later. I'd want to tell you about it in person, and I'm going to need your assistance, Jimin. I want us to raise this child together. Of course we will, baby. Of course we will. No matter what, we'll face this together. We'll be a family, and we'll make the best life for our child that we can. Tears flowed freely down your cheeks as you held him close, feeling a sense of peace and joy wash over you. You had been so worried about telling him, but he had reacted exactly how you had hoped he would. You knew that you and Jimin could handle anything that came your way as long as you had each other. And now, with this baby on the way, you felt a newfound strength and determination coursing through you. You were ready to face the future together. Jimin returned home after giving his extra time for military service for more holidays. He was glad to be back, but he couldn't help but feel a twinge of homesickness for the woman he left behind. As he walked through the door of their apartment, he was greeted by the familiar scent of her favorite perfume and the sight of the cards and gifts she had hidden around the room. It was obvious that she had missed him just as much as he had missed her. With a smile on his face, he called out to her. Ryan, I'm home. There was no reply, but he could hear her soft sobs coming from their bedroom. His heart ached as he rushed to her side, finding her curled up on the bed, tears streaming down her face. He gathered her into his arms, holding her close as she cried, and whispered softly, "Hey, it's okay. I'm here now. I'm home." He knew that she had been strong while he was gone, but the weight of their situation had been weighing heavily on her heart. He promised to be there for her now, to support her and love her through everything they faced together. They still had a long road ahead of them, but with their love for each other and the precious life they were growing inside her, they could face anything. With a loud cry, your baby boy emerged into the world. As the doctor placed him on your chest, you felt an overwhelming sense of love and protectiveness wash over you. It was then that you saw Jimin standing in the doorway, his face a mixture of fear and awe. Oh my god, he breathed, tears streaming down his face. He's perfect. You reached out for him and he hurried to your side, kissing you gently on the forehead. You smiled up at him, feeling a warmth spread through your body. You held your baby closer to him, watching as the emotions played across his face. I couldn't have done it without you. You're going to be the best father he could ever ask for. Jimin looked down at your son, his eyes shining with tears. I promise I'll always be there for him, just like I'm here for you. We're a family now, and we'll make sure our little guy knows just how much he's loved. True love is found not only in the moments together, but also in the moments apart.